Hey guys, it's Libby, and I'm standing up. If you saw my brief announcement about the Brickathon, you know that is because there was a furniture disaster, and here we are. It seems much brighter up here. My hair looks practically orange in the camera. Oh well. But this is a book review, actually a double book review. I am reviewing The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up and Spark Joy by Kondo. I think that is actually how you pronounce it. I am pretty much just going to call her KonMari though. So you may have heard of The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up. It is a self-help book. I can't say P's today. Self-help book. It came out in Japan several years ago, and then it came out in the United States in an English translation, I don't know, 18 months, 2 years ago, something like that, and it's been increasing in popularity, and I bought it for my mom over for Christmas. In a non-judgmental way, I asked her beforehand if it was okay if I got her that, and you know, not saying, "Mom, your house is a mess." So I got it for her, and then like 2 days after Christmas, I was heading down to my in-laws, and I had to drop my cat off at my parents' house. So I was over there, and I was hanging out. We were having dinner, so I was waiting for dinner to get ready, and I just sort of picked up Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up because it was hanging out there, and I started reading it, and I just kept reading it, and I was like, oh man, I have to leave my parents' house at some point. I have to go home because I'm getting up really early to start driving tomorrow. What am I gonna do? So I'm like ignoring dinner table conversation and just like sitting there reading it, taking notes. I had to take notes because I couldn't keep the book because it's very uncool to give someone a Christmas present and then take it. And at a certain point my mom was like, do you just want to borrow that? And I was like, yes, I would. So I took it home and I actually finished it that night. And of course it's about tidying your house. But I was not in my house. I was at my in-laws for the next week. And so I'm a little bit crazier about this book than I think I otherwise would have been, because I was like, okay, for this whole week when I can't actually do the KonMari method, I have to keep the hype at maximum in order to like make sure that I do it when I finally get back to my own house. So I watched like every minute of YouTube video that KonMari is in. I watched other people do the KonMari method on their house. I read all sorts of articles, and then this really hit me at the best time possible because Spark Joy, the sequel to The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up, came out on January 5th. And so bright and early, January 5th, I got the ebook, I read all of that, and then I tidied my house. So that's the story, and that is also the reason why I haven't been making a lot of videos in January. You may have noticed that the traditional end-of-year videos have been coming out for me rather slowly. So, what are these books? The format of The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up is a fairly straightforward self-help format. KonMari explains all of the various methods that she had tried to tidy her house before, and why they didn't work, and how she developed this method, and how it's changed her life, and how it's changed her clients' lives, and all of these lovely things. There's also a bit of a breakdown of how to do the KonMari method. And then in Spark Joy, there's a little bit of repetitiveness in sort of part 1 and part 3 of Spark Joy, but then in part 2, it is a more precise breakdown of like each thing that you do in the actual method. So the core element of the method is that you first divide your house into categories. Those categories are clothes, books, papers, miscellaneous or komono, and sentimental items. And you go through each of these categories, and first you take everything you own that is in that category and lay it out on the floor or your bed or all in one big pile. And then you handle each item individually and decide whether or not it sparks joy. Like, she's very adorable when she describes, like, it makes your heart go pitter-pat. When you hold it, then you keep it, and if it does not make your heart go pitter-pat, then you give it away. And then once you have completed the discarding process, you then do the storing process, which is where you give a place to each item you have decided to keep, and that is its place, that is where it goes. So even like as the months roll by after you finish KonMari, all of your things still have a place, so that if you take them out and your house looks like it's starting to get cluttered, you can declutter it fairly quickly because you just have to put things back where they're supposed to go. There was one major change that I made, and that was more of a mindset change, and that was I made kitchen its own category. So I did clothes, books, papers, komono, kitchen, and then sentimental items. And she had included kitchen in komono or miscellaneous, but all of my other miscellaneous things like pens or, I don't know, chargers are sort of scattered about the house in various places, but the kitchen is a discrete area, and like I don't have mixing bowls in my living room. So I decided to do it that way. I think doing your clothes is the most fun, but doing your kitchen, that was the one that was the most stark change for me, because I do a fair bit of cooking, and I had always felt like I'm the sort of person who likes cooking. Like when I wasn't cooking, I'd sit there and be like, yeah, I like to cook. I enjoy food and the making of it. But whenever I was actually doing stuff in the kitchen, I was incredibly stressed. But the first meal that I made after I tidied my kitchen, took everything out, got rid of a bunch of stuff, put everything back, was like insane. I remember exactly what I made, and I think that I will for the rest of my life. It was pasta with spinach in like a butter garlic sauce, and I was so happy making it. And I remember when I pulled out the bowls that I was going to serve it in, normally when I pulled out the bowls I would have to like then clear something off or like go over to the other end of the kitchen opposite the stove and to put them down and then like go serve over there. But when I had these like completely clear counters, I just took the bowls out and put them down, and it was so easy. So I gave both of these books a 5 out of 5 stars. I think that you should read them if you are unhappy with the way your house is. If you're already happy with the situation of your house, then you don't need to change anything. So the book that I think you actually really need to buy is Spark Joy, because that has the full breakdown of like how to fold things, and it has a lot more storage advice. And then if you want to get more of the philosophy behind it, you can either just watch one of her lectures on YouTube. You can just type in Marie Kondo or KonMari. Or you can go ahead and read The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up. Now, I gave these books 5 stars because of the effect they had on my life. I do think that there was some major silliness in some points, like if it was, you know, it's not a 5 stars for the writing. And some of the advice she gives is like weird. For example, she is aware that like your serving spoons or like your ladles aren't really going to spark joy that much. So she says if there's something that you do actually need to keep, like she says, don't throw away your passport, even if your passport doesn't spark joy. But if there's something that you do need to keep, but it doesn't spark joy, then like talk yourself into it. She's like, hold your soup ladle and say, hey soup ladle, you're really great. I appreciate how you let me eat all of my favorite soups without making a mess in my kitchen. Thanks, soup ladle. And I was like, I'm not gonna do that. With my soup ladles, I just sort of looked at them and went, oh, I have 2. Pretty much never need to. This one is nicer. I will get rid of that one. In case you're curious about my statistics, it took me 10 days to do the KonMari method for my house, which is about 1,000 square feet, and there's only 2 people living in it. And of those 10 days, I took 2 of them off from KonMari because like I went to work and then I came home from work and I was like, I just want to lie down and not do anything. But sometimes after work I came home and I kept plugging on. And I got rid of 5 like large trash bags of just trash. And that's not including a bunch of cardboard boxes that had been accumulating in our walk-in closet. Our walk-in closet doesn't actually contain any clothes. It had like, we had just been like, here's a box, I could throw it out or I could throw it in the walk-in closet, which is not good. Why were we doing that? And I also had like 4.5 bags of stuff to give away, and there were a couple things that I didn't want to put in the bags because they were like the spare blender, which is glass. So I'd say I got rid of about 10 large trash bags of stuff, and I don't feel bad about it. I miss none of those things. Also, some of them were books, and I thought about filming a book unhaul, but I was already busy doing all the KonMari stuff and like trying desperately to get my January videos out, and I was a little bit nervous that if I was like holding them and talking about them, I might convince myself into keeping them, and I was scared of that. So they're just gone. So there you have it. I enjoyed these books. They were very quick to read, and I appreciate what they have done for my life, even though they are at times a little silly.